Welcome back to Mac Talks Football, and it's match day 21 in the English Premier League, and we really don't know what is really happening. If I'm being very honest with you, the league is so tight, especially at the top. I think it's so funny, especially between Arsenal and Liverpool. Liverpool win a game, and Arsenal go ahead and win the game. And if Arsenal don't win a game, Liverpool make sure that they also don't win a game. There's a 6 point difference between the two teams, with Liverpool having a game in hand, so the title race is still there. You have Nottingham Forest at 40 points at number 3. They are still somehow in that title chart. It is so surprising to see Nottingham Forest, but their season is going really well. The relegation battle, I mean, there are about 8 or 9 teams in the threat of going out into the championship, so that is always really tight. The European places are going on. There are so many, new teams who are fighting for those European places. So let's go ahead and see how this weekend turns and shake things up. The FA Cup was quite wild. Unfortunately, my team went out. Arsenal were eliminated. So I think that is gonna play into this week's games as well, because a lot of the teams rested their players. So I think it will be quite fascinating to see how fresh the players are for the Premier League game. So let's go ahead and start the first game. It's Chelsea versus Bournemouth. It's 4th versus 7th. Now Chelsea, their season has been going sort of like a seesaw. They started really poorly, but they had a great run, and they somehow were, everybody was talking about them in that title picture. But over the last month or so, I would say they have dropped down. They have not been able to win the games. Their performances have dipped quite poorly, and that has really affected them, in their league position as well. Playing against the Bournemouth side, who are having the time of their lives. They're 7th in the table. They are undefeated in their last 6 games, but 6 games, sorry, yeah. But unfortunately for them, majority of those games have been, like, out of those 6, only 2 of them have been wins, 4 of them have been draws. They are just 3 points behind Chelsea. So if they win this game, they could really go into those Champions League positions, and I think that is going to be a big deal for Bournemouth. Chelsea know how big this game is at Stamford Bridge. It's a London derby as well, but I just don't see Chelsea getting a win there, and this is quite surprising, because a month ago I would have seen it's an easy Chelsea win. But the way that the pendulum has shifted and their performances have changed, I think it's going to be quite an entertaining game. But I just don't see Chelsea getting the result in this one. I'm going for a 2-all draw between Chelsea and Bournemouth. Up next, another London derby. It's West Ham versus Fulham. It is 14th versus 9th. Now West Ham, they've lost their last 2 games, and the thing with West Ham is, like, when December started, it looked like, the players are really starting to gel, and they're starting to get the results, and they were sort of starting to climb up the table. But the last couple of games, it has all started to go down the drain again. The last couple of performances have not been really good. They are playing against a Fulham side, a fellow London side, as I said. It's a derby, who are in the 9th in the table. They have been undefeated in their last 5 games, but just like Bournemouth, like 4 of those 5 games have been draws. There's just 1 win in those 5 games, and Fulham are one of those sides who can really go ahead and qualify for Europe. And I just don't know, unfortunately for Marco Silva and his side, they're just not being able to get over the line in a majority of those games where they should have been the winning side. They just ended up drawing games, and I think this is going to be one of those games. West Ham at the they are going to be at home. It's going to be it's a night game. It's going to be quite a visual, but I just don't see a result. I think both those teams are gonna play with in a defensive mindset. To be very honest with you, I just don't think Silva and Fulham are playing with that attacking flair that they started the season. I think that is hampering their performances. I think it's going to be a draw, but I think there are going to be goals in this game. I'm going for a 1-all draw between West Ham and Fulham. Up next is Brentford versus Manchester City. It is 11th versus 6th. Now Brentford are not in a really good form. There have been 3 defeats in their last 5 games. Just 1 win over the last 5 games, and the way that they are playing, it just feels like something is missing for Brentford. They play really good football, but they're leaking too many goals, if I'm being very honest with you. And Thomas Frank really needs to work on it if they really want to go ahead and qualify for Europe, because it's really possible. They're just 7 points behind Manchester City, who are 6th in the table. So the possibility of qualifying for Europe for Brentford is still there. Speaking of Manchester City, They have won their last 2 games, and it's sort of it feels like the blip that they had, the worst run of form that anybody could have imagined for Manchester City, in a way has gone away, if I'm being very honest with you. And I think they are starting to get back to their best, but I just don't think this game is going to be one of those games where they get the win, if I'm being very honest with you. Going away to Brentford, I think it's going to be quite a tough game. Brentford like to play attacking football, and I think it's going to suit Manchester City because City like the teams who come out and attack and play attacking football. But I think going away under lights, I think it will be quite a tough game, and it could be an entertaining game. And just like the Chelsea game, I think we are not going to get a result in this game, but we are going to get a lot of goals. I'm going for a 2-all draw between Brentford and Manchester City. Then it's a big game. It is third versus first. It's Nottingham Forest versus Liverpool. Forest are on a 7-match winning streak. They are playing a beautiful football. They are having the majority of the Forest fans, to be very honest with you, having the time of their lives. Nobody would have thought they would be third after 20 games in the league. Playing against a Liverpool side who are undefeated in their last 5 games, 3 wins and 2 draws. They drew, last game as well. But Arsenal were not able to take advantage of that, so Liverpool wouldn't really mind that one. Playing against a Forest side, I think will be quite an interesting game. It will be, I think this is going to be one of Forest's toughest test, if I'm being very honest with you. And in this point of time, you cannot really blame Forest for anything because they have punched above, played above everybody's expectations. I think it will be quite an interesting game, and I seriously think that Liverpool, could lose this game, if I'm being very honest with you. Liverpool have been really good, but there have been patches. It shows that Liverpool have weaknesses, and I think the confidence Forest have, they could really hurt Liverpool. But I just don't think it is gonna happen. Maybe you can call it, Liverpool being this the superior team and whatnot. Liverpool can lose, but I'm not gonna go there. But I think they are gonna drop the points. I think Forest's winning run is gonna continue, come to an end, but I don't think they are gonna lose as well. I think it will be a draw, and again, I think it will be quite an entertaining draw. I'm going for another 2-all draw prediction in this game as well, between Forest and Liverpool. Up next is Newcastle versus Wolves at 5th versus 17th. Newcastle are on an amazing run of form, 6 games, 6 wins in a row, and they are really piling up the climbing up the table, 5th in the table. Playing against a Wolves side who are 17th in the table. They have been quite inconsistent. I think if there is one team, I still think they are going to be safe, even though they are in the relegation battle, even though they are 17th in the table. I still think Wolves are going to be safe at the end of the season, but I just don't see any them getting anything out of this game. I think Newcastle are flying high on confidence, and they are trying to get back into those Champions League places, and I think they are going to get the win here as well. I think it will be quite a comfortable win as well. I'm going for a 3-1 win for Newcastle United. Then it's Everton versus Aston Villa. It is a 16th versus 8th. Now Everton, they have done something really crazy. They have really done something surprising. They have sacked Sean Dyche just before the FA Cup game was about to start. They have replaced him with Graham Potter. I really like Potter as a manager, so it will be quite interesting to see what he does at Everton. He has this January transfer window as well to somehow keep them safe. But if we are talking about the form, I just don't. Their form has been quite terrible. I am not going to sit here and pretend it was not surprising. It was quite a shocking news. Replacing Sean Dyche when you're in a relegation battle was quite surprising. Playing against an Aston Villa side who are 8th at the table, they are fighting to get back into those Champions League places. They have been quite inconsistent, but I think they are getting back to their form that put them back in those top 4 places. Everton, I think the place is going to be really buzzing at the Goodison Park. Graham Potter, the new manager. Will Everton get a new manager bounce is going to be quite the big question mark, if I'm being very honest with you. I just don't see it, if I'm being very honest with you. I think Unai Emery and Villa are the level that they are. I just think they are. I think it will be a tough game, but I think Villa are going to get over the line. But I think it will be quite a close game. I'm going for a 2-1 win for Aston Villa. Moving on, it's Leicester City versus Crystal Palace. It is 19th versus 15th. Now Leicester City, unfortunately, they are all over the place. They sacked their manager. They changed it. They changed Steve Cooper with Ruud van Nistelrooy. But it has been a defeat after defeat after defeat. They are 19th in the table, playing against a Crystal Palace side who are continually improving as the games go by. And I think they are going to be safe at the moment. They are still in that relegation scrap. You cannot just say that they are safe. But I think they are improving, and they are getting away from the scrap. I think a little bit you can just see the difference between the bottom 4 4, and then there is a top 5 between the bottom 9. I think there's a clear difference, if I'm being very honest with you. And I think Crystal Palace are slowly getting away from the lot at the bottom. I think it will be another tough game for Leicester City, unfortunately, and I think their losing streak is gonna continue in this game as well. I think it will be quite a hard fought win for Crystal Palace, but I think they are gonna nick it in the end. I'm going for a very close 1-0 win for Crystal Palace. Then it's the biggest game for Matchday 21. It's the North London derby, and it's Arsenal versus Spurs. It is second versus 11th. Now the thing with I think the Arsenal, there are two types of Arsenal. If you look at the league form, Arsenal, they are undefeated in their last 5-6 games, but just like Liverpool, it's I don't know, it's psychologically or what it is. Liverpool and Arsenal are basically copying each other. If Arsenal draw points, Liverpool go ahead and draw points. If Arsenal are winning the games, Liverpool will win the games, and it's vice versa. I think it's a big game for Arsenal. But if you look at their cup games, I mean, they lost to Newcastle in the Carabao Cup first leg. They lost to Manchester United in the FA Cup. We are out of the FA Cup. So I think these 6 months from starting from this North London derby up until March, until the end of the season, I think they are going to be very crucial for Arsenal. There have been a lot of injuries for Arsenal. The players are not performing. There are question marks over Mikel Arteta. I still back him. I still think that he's the right guy for the job. I think I'm gonna get a lot of hate, but I still think that he's the right guy for the job, because I just don't see any other manager coming in and doing better than him, if I'm being very honest with you. Playing against a Spurs side who are all over the table, if I'm being very honest with you, they are not doing really good. They are losing matches where they should have been winning those games, and I think it is going to be quite a fight. And but the thing is, with the North London derby, it's a derby. I just don't really see the form going into it. I don't think it matters whether you are at the top of the table or you are at the bottom of the table. It's a derby. Anything can happen in a derby, but Arsenal being at home, being at Emirates, I think it is going to be quite an entertaining game for everybody to watch. And North London derby is always entertaining, and I think we are gonna get a good a game of football, and I think it's going to be filled with goals. But I think Arsenal are gonna nick it in the end. I'm going for an entertaining 3-2 win for Arsenal. Then it's Ipswich Town versus Brighton and Hove Albion. It is 18th versus 10th. And now Ipswich, they are sort of starting to come back. They won 2 out of their last 5 games. They're starting to move up the table. Their performances have been there. They're trying to get out of those relegation zones. And I think if there's one team that I really think can get out of that relegation battle, I think that's Ipswich. I just don't see Southampton and Leicester getting out of that relegation places anytime soon, if I'm being very honest with you. Playing against a Brighton and Hove Albion side who have not won a game in their last 5 games. Last 4 of their games have been draws, and even if they really want to go ahead and qualify for Europe, they need to start winning their games, because the games are coming thick and fast. It's already 20 games have been played, and as I said, it's going to be quite the games are not going to nobody's going to wait for you. You really need to go ahead and act on it. I think it will be quite an interesting game. Ipswich being at home, they are going to play off the crowd as well, and Brighton have not really been playing to their potential, and I think we could see a surprise win here for the home side. I think it's going to be quite a big win, and I think Ipswich are going to go ahead and get that 3 points, but I think it will be quite an entertaining game as well. I'm going for a 2-1 win for Ipswich. And the last game for Matchday 21 is Manchester United versus Southampton. It is 13th versus 28th. Now Southampton have not even got into the double figures for the points tally. It is their season has been abysmal. They have been abysmal, if I'm being very honest with you, and it is starting to look quite certain that they are going to get relegated, that they are going to go back to the championship. They are playing against a Manchester United side at Old Trafford who have been quite disappointing is not even a word to describe Manchester United. They have been really poor, and they somehow defeated Arsenal in that FA Cup final. I am still not over it. I'm glad that I did not have to make a video about it, because my voice, the one that was recovering, would have gone away after that video, because it was abysmal by Arsenal. But they somehow got the win. They are going to come in this game with a bit of confidence. But if we are talking about the league, like their last 4 games, 3 of them have been defeats and a draw in their last game in the league. I think it will be quite a close game. Somehow, some way, it is going to be a close game. But I think Manchester United are going to get the win. I just don't see Southampton winning a game, especially at Old Trafford. But with United, anything is possible. But I'm still gonna, go ahead and place my bet on Manchester United. I think they are gonna win it, and I think they are gonna win it convincingly as well. I just don't see Southampton as a threat for Manchester United, especially at Old Trafford. If I'm being very honest with you, I'm going for a comfortable 2-0 win for Manchester United. And with that, my predictions for match day 21 are completed. The match day is separated into 3 different days: Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So it's going to be quite interesting to see how the game, the matches pan out. And then we're going to have another match day as well. So the games are coming thick and fast. The second part of the season is quite and truly well and truly started. We're going to see how it pans out. It's looking quite interesting. So let's see what happens on the match days. These are my predictions. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. And whether do you agree with me or do you disagree with me? Let me know in the comment section below as well. Like the video, share it as well. Click on the notification bell, and of course subscribe to the channel. We are trying to get to 500 subscribers as quickly as possible. So please go ahead and help the channel out. Until next time, bye bye.